You sure can. If you don't want this movie spoiled, please keep scrolling. Orphan First Kill is a prequel of the movie Orphan that came out in 2009. And the big twist in that movie is that the orphan, Esther, is actually a 33-year-old woman suffering from a dwarfism condition. So this movie, Orphan First Kill, takes place 2 years before those events, so Esther in this movie is 31, but obviously is still supposed to look like a child. So the movie starts with Esther being in the mental institution that she is locked up in, because she had already been adopted into and killed a previous family. However, she ends up manipulating one of the guards, kills him, and gets his keys and escapes. Once she escapes, she follows one of the therapists home, kills her, and uses her computer to search for a new identity. And the way that she does that is by searching for missing children. And she comes across one that she kind of resembles, whose name is Esther Albright. And she turns herself into the police, basically saying, I'm this missing child, Esther. So this first part takes place in Estonia, but now we move on to America. In America, we meet this family. It consists of Julia Stiles, who plays the mother, Trisha, a father, Alan, and their son, Gunnar. And this family gets word that their missing daughter, Esther, has been found. So Trisha, the mom, goes to pick her up in Romania and brings her home. And Trisha and Gunnar are kind of very obviously unsettled by this whole thing. Anyway, so Esther moves into the family home, but both the detective that was on the case for the missing Esther and her psychiatrist are very skeptical of her. And this detective starts looking into things a little bit deeper. One night he goes into the house and gets a fingerprint of Esther's. And as he's in his home putting all of that together, Esther follows him and starts to stab him. And just as she's about to deliver the final blow, all of a sudden gunshots. And who is it? That's right, Julia Stiles' character, Trisha, shoots the cop. Fucking weird, right? Why does she do this? At this point, she reveals to fake Esther that the real Esther was killed by Gunnar and Trisha covered it up. They were roughhousing, he accidentally killed her, and Trisha didn't want to lose both of her children. So they covered it up by saying that she went missing. And her husband, Alan, has no idea, thinks this is the real Esther, but obviously Trisha and Gunnar know that it's not, and that's why they've been so uneasy since the beginning. So Julia Stiles basically tells Esther, like, you've decided to play this role, you need to keep playing this role because Alan is so much happier now that he has his daughter back. And basically, if you don't keep up with this, I'm turning you into the Estonian authorities. So they all keep this act up for a little bit of time, but obviously it doesn't go well. Esther tries to kill Trisha and Gunnar in a train station, but is unsuccessful. And then Trisha and Gunnar basically decide that, like, Esther needs to die. This isn't gonna work out. So they try to stage a suicide, but a whole fight ensues. Esther ends up chasing Gunnar down and stabbing him to death with his own weapon, which is a fencing sword. Trisha walks in on this and is now distraught because her only living child is dead. His character was such a little bitch, by the way. I was literally rooting for Esther to do this the whole time. So Trisha and Esther end up on the roof, and a struggle ensues. Alan ends up coming home and finding them both on the roof. As he goes up there to save him, Trisha lets go and she falls off and dies. So Alan goes to pick up Esther, looks her in the face, and finally realizes this is not his daughter. He calls her a monster. She pushes him off the roof to his death as well. The last scene is of Esther in an orphanage up for adoption, a perfect segue into the original movie.